There's deer right here, right here. I've always tempered my killing with respect for the game I've pursued. I see the animal not only as a target, but also a living creature with more freedom than I will ever have. How many?
About 15.
I take that life, if I can, with regret as well as joy, and with the sure knowledge that nature's way of fang and claw or exposure and starvation are a far crueler fate than I can bestow. There's predator, there's prey, we're the dominant species on the planet.
I realised recently at the supermarket that when it comes to picking meat, the only thing I think about is the price.
How can I help you today?
We don't know where our meat's from, how it's killed, raised or butchered. But recently there's been a movement encouraging people to kill their own meat. So we're on our way to the New South Wales hinterlands to find out what ethical hunting is all about.
Hi, I'm Lovell. And I'm Barra, and we run a hunting and lifestyle retreat company called The Alpha Human.
For $1,300, they promise to teach you how to hunt, not for sport, but for meat. The idea is that by bringing ourselves closer to the process, it'll change the way we consume meat. This is going to divide a lot of people, this one, I think. Oh.
I grew up on a small farm. We had goats, chickens, pigs, ducks, geese. Every year we'd take the animals to the abattoir and come back, and it'd fill the freezer, and hunting was just an extension of that.
My stepfather was into hunting, and I learned how to shoot with him. It was really an excuse to get in the bush.
Lovell hunts with a rifle and Luke hunts with a bow.
How you doing? Welcome.
Right, you've already gotten started.
Yeah, we kicked off already. The guys are putting some arrows down range. We'll get you involved and get you shooting some arrows.
Welcome to the Bow Hunting for Beginners Retreat Weekend 2017. I know you guys are here for different reasons, and yeah, hope to expose you guys to hunting as best as possible this weekend.
I think it's going to be a challenge. I'm not too sure if it'll be emotional or I'll be sweet with it, but we'll see how it goes.
Stick your arm out nice and straight. See if you've got the strength to pull it back. That's it.
Oh my God. What the hell?
Pull. I'm a yoga teacher. One of the principles there is non-violence, but I actually see kind of the factory farming as more of a violent act towards the animal than hunting.
Come on. Oh, good. We're going to have to wind that down for you.
Skinny jeans, mate.
Whoa. Jesus. Where'd that go?
People think it's okay to go to the butcher and do it, but it's not okay for you, my neighbour, to do it, or you, my friend, to do it. 1,000 triggers get pulled every day in Australia, whether it be at an abattoir or a hobby farm.
All right, mate, I've got your gear here, so gear up in the car and we'll head off.
Okay.
All right, mate.
Well, there's no turning back now. It's time to hunt some deer, which is an overpopulated invasive species on the verge of a major culling in New South Wales.
Why do we have to whisper? They'll be able to hear us. What's our plan? So we're going to go down into the gully, and we're going to sit there and just sort of become part of the bush.
It's like hide and seek, except we're hiding.
Pretty much, yeah. The ethical hunter is someone dedicated to a discipline. And I think it lives sort of deep within you. Here's one there, wasn't it? Why are you doing it? Are you going out to kill 30 or 40 deer in a weekend and leave the carcasses? That's a shooter, not a hunter. And we're not shooters.
What's the difference between ethical hunting and hunting?
You're not going out on a blind killing spree or a shooting spree. You're out there for a purpose. You're not taking more than you need. You're contributing to the balance of the land.
Do you think the animal knows the difference?
I don't think the animal knows the difference. It's just life or death for them, you know.
Once we tracked the deer, the only thing left to do was wait.
Just be really quiet, yeah. Be really quiet.
And wait we did for 3 hours.
They're in that bush looking towards us now.
Finally, Luke spotted something.
He can see 2 deer, and he's gonna go try and stalk it. Oh, I can see it too. I can see it.
Luke wasn't able to get a clear shot at it. And hunting was turning out to be a lot more difficult than I'd thought.
When deer come out, they pick up movement really easily. So if a deer makes eye contact with you or looks at you, do not move.
While we were waiting, we got word from the other hunting group that Lovell had a deer in his sights. It was getting dark though, so we'd need to act fast. We're trying to cut them off on the other end. They ran past us, and we've been waiting in the one spot for 3 hours, and they came out a different section of the gully. I think he's over there.
As a young male buck. And that was the exit there, so he's come through the other shoulder and out through here. By the time we got there, we could see him bedded down over in the field, and he was gonzo, he was dead.
It was pretty confronting, hey?
It seems all kind of like a game before something dies.
Yep. Killing the animal is not easy whatsoever. It's the hardest thing to do. But it's the reality of hunting. It's the way it's always been. And it's the way it is. If you want to eat meat.
Here, that's it. And you're going to push it. We're going to push it straight up.
Tripping the blood.
That's just coming out of the exit or the entry.
Yeah. What we're going to do from here is we're going to make some incisions around the hock.
Oh, this isn't easy.
You're doing a good job. So that's the exit wound from the shoulder, a bit of damage.
I'm still feeling a little bit sick in my stomach, but I guess once the warmth leaves the deer's body, you do start to feel like it's a piece of meat. I mean, yeah. Oh. After seeing it up close, I still wasn't quite sure about some of the ethics surrounding our hunt. So I decided to get some other perspectives. Is there a difference between ethical hunting and hunting?
It's a huge space and it's quite grey and a lot of nuance in there.
Generally speaking, the RSPCA has some pretty big concerns about hunting. You've got a moving animal at a great distance. Even if you're a really skilled marksman, it's quite difficult to get a really clean shot. At abattoirs generally, have certain standards and policies and procedures in place. But in terms of someone going out in the field, there really aren't any.
When we confront processes behind how meat is produced, it becomes uncomfortable. And one of the reasons for that is what we call the meat paradox. You buy it in cellophane packages, it's clean, it's tidy. You don't have to think about that too much. We never see heads of animals, feet, or the noses, or the eyes.
Is there such thing as a respectful way to kill an animal?
The most respectful way to do it is to cause it the least amount of distress and harm and suffering.
If you're talking about getting closer to the supply chain of your food and understanding where your food's coming from and things like that, there's a lot of other ways to go about that.
Oh. Pretty sure, like hunting, I wouldn't want to eat meat as often.
Yeah.
Like I'd be more likely to eat it less often than more often.
Yeah. Look, everyone's entitled to an opinion, and I'm a big believer of that. And I don't try to force anything down anyone's throat. And if people are interested in hunting and they want to learn, they come to me. They come to us.
Salt and pepper. Venison backstrap, harvested by you guys.
It's an uncomfortable feeling eating something that you just saw alive, but I've sat at thousands of tables, just like this one, and not given it a thought. Maybe their method isn't the most ethical way to come to that realisation, but I've learnt it's important we do somehow, to not only become accountable for the cost, but aware of the price.